definitely time to revisit untangled cordage. Like, how do you keep your cordage untangled, specifically ridge lines? You know, we normally are dealing with 20, 30 feet, and they can just get crazy. So we're gonna go over today, which I have done in other videos, but I think it's important because I see people all the time struggle with keeping these things nice and organized. Now, specific to ridge lines, and you're going to be able to apply this, but I think if we do the ridge line route, it's going to cover all bases. Ridge lines normally have your loop on one end, and then as you work your way down, you have some type of prusik loop on there too, possibly. It depends how you have this set up, but for me, I have 30-foot ridge lines with a bowline knot, or bowline knot, depending how you pronounce it, and a prusik loop or 2 or 3 on there. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have this deploy very quickly and wrap up that it's ready to deploy, okay? So what I do is I take the loop, I open up my hand, and I lay the loop between my thumb and index finger, okay? And then what we do is we take the line and we pinch it with our thumb just like that, okay? So the loop's in the back. Now I'm gonna take the line itself, I'm gonna go behind my pinky, behind my thumb. See how I crossed over? So we're gonna make an H shape. And I'm just gonna continue that process. Now, this is where people get messed up. We hit this prusik. I can tie this in here like this, but what happens is, as I do this, the line starts to cover that over. Not a good thing. So what I like to do is when I get here, I work this up that it is on top of my thumb, okay? That way when the entire loop or wrap of cordage is done, my loop and all my prusiks are sticking out the top. So you're gonna see when we deploy this, everything just shoots out the front and it's perfect. So I'm gonna continue this process, wrapping, 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 making those figure 8s. Again, here's my prusik. So I'm gonna slide that up to the top, and it takes a second to play with this, but you'll get it right where you need it, okay? And then I'm just gonna continue that process. Just keep on wrapping. And you'll get real fast with this as you go. One thing you don't wanna do, you see how I'm keeping my fingers spread wide apart. If you start to do this with your fingers, it gets so tight and so crumbled up that it doesn't work too well, okay? Don't be afraid to have the line go over itself when I come this way, all right? Don't be afraid to do that. That's not gonna hurt anything. When you get down to the end with about a foot or 2 left, you're gonna grab the middle of your line, you're gonna take the whole thing off. So now we have our top end. You see how all that nice stuff is hanging out? And then all we're gonna do with this 2-foot or 1-foot section we have left is start to wrap it around the hank itself, like that, okay? Really easy stuff. And then on one of the wraps, right here, when we come back through, we're gonna tuck that end into the wrap and give it a tug, okay? Now, that tie out itself, the only downfall with that is it can undo itself. So when you do this, give it a good hard pull and it's gonna get everything set right, okay? Now, what's cool about this is this end, as I pull this, everything will feed out of here. So if I'm putting up this ridge line and I'm gonna put this around a tree, once I start to pull, this hank is going to stay together. Now, I recommend keeping your hand here, okay? Because as you pull more and more of this out, this is gonna seem to get looser and then it can get tangled up if you don't control this. But what's nice now is I have full control of this. I could place this around a tree. I could do whatever I need to do and I'm not dealing with a lot of line, okay? But what I'll do is I pull, now you see, that thing came free perfectly. Pull, pull, pull. Let's say another one came free perfectly. Now at this point, if I need to do a tent peg, this is all still hanked up. I can just grab that end, tighten it down, and we're good. I could put a bowline knot in this end if I need. Any of that stuff will work really, really well. And then if you pull all the way to the end, nothing was tangled up. The only thing you do get is you do get this little knot in the end. So you do need to be aware of that. You see I already had one in here from before, but that's not a huge deal, okay? That's not a deal breaker for me because our line is nice and organized. So give this one a shot. A little quick tip, I know I went over this in the past, but I definitely think that if you're a new subscriber and you haven't seen this, it is the premier way of storing any kind of long line. So try it, adopt it, you're gonna love it. Everybody comes to our courses, they're like, yes, that is it. So work yourself through that. You're not gonna be tangled up anymore, and you're gonna be a happier camper. Because you know when you buy paracord and you open it up and it's a mess. Like they do that at the factory and laugh for every little hank they send out. They just laugh. What a nightmare. Okay, check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com. Stay in the woods.